Hello, welcome back to my Thaumcraft 2015 Let's Play series. So in the last episode I told you we're doing some more with Thaumcraft, and let's get into that. So we're still in the early throes of Thaumcraft, so I want to focus on this and this. Research expertise and research mastery, which we don't have down here either. I already have a research note on this, it's in the table. Alright, so this is the research note for research expertise. This is going to help us do research. Alright, so we need to connect Cognitio to Ordo, and I already have figured out how to do that based on the thing I've got, the tool. So Humanus, Fabrico, and Instrumentum. And we can connect Cognitio to Sensus by doing Spiritus. Spiritus again, but on this side, and Sensus. There we go, research expertise. So, why would I want research expertise? Well, it opens up stuff down here. That's always a good idea to do stuff like that. But it helps you be more efficient in research. So, if you mess up and see the wrong thing or put the wrong aspect in a table, you have a 1 in 4 chance you can claim it back and not lose the research point. That's helpful in the early game. You can also see what aspects you need to combine to create an aspect you are hovering over. So what does that mean? If we go in here, we can now see that Mortus is made up of Victus and Predicio. Meadow is Messus and Instrumentum. Instrumentum is Humanus and Ordo, etc., etc. We now see what component aspects make up that aspect, which is helpful in doing research if you don't want to use the tool. Frankly, I like the tool, but whatever. Alright, I also want to get the Deconstruction Table and Research Mastery. Now, if you can see there's this little gray cloud effect emanating from this, it means this is forbidden knowledge. And anytime you get forbidden knowledge, you're going to get what's called warp. Warp is a little bit of negative effects from Thaumcraft. It's saying you're not meant to understand these things, and the world's going to punish you for knowing about them. Now, it's pretty minor. Like it says, it's mostly harmless for this forbidden knowledge, but there are some which are more severe, and when you've unlocked the entire Thaumcraft tree, you're going to have a lot of warp. Warp is not removable, it's permanent, it's cumulative. So, warp causes all kinds of weird little funny things to happen. It's not terrible, it's an interesting mechanic. Asner likes to play with things like this. I don't mind. Maybe I will once I've had more experience with warp, but right now, it's just a new little funny thing with Thaumcraft. So let's get the research note. And let's put that in the table. Alright, so this one is going to be more complicated. I'm going to pause the video. I can go figure out how to solve this. I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and this is the majority of the note solved. So, Praecontatio contains potentia, which is in Praecontatio. Praecontatio also has vacuos, and air is in vacuos. Air is also in sensus. Air is also in volatus. Motus is in volatus, and ordo is in motus. Ordo is in permutatio. Ignis is in cognitio. Ignis is in potentia. And the last step, potentia has ordo, and so does permutatio. So we click there, and there we go, a completed research note for research mastery. Now we're going to get the warp effect as soon as we discover this. So there we go, bottom right hand corner, you have gained permanent warp. So why go ahead and get this if we're going to get negative effects? Well, negative effects are pretty minor for this one, so I'm not worried about it. But now we get twice as much of a chance at regaining aspects if we place the wrong one. And there's a 10% chance that it won't cost us anything when we do research. So this is helpful. Finally, we can combine aspects in the research table by shift-clicking. So if we don't have enough of an aspect, like I only have one lux, I could click on air and ignis and combine them, or it's at 1, shift-click, now it's at 2, and I spent a point of air and a point of ignis. So that's a much easier way to get more aspects, which is why Research Mastery is kind of nice. Alright, finally, I want to get the Deconstruction Table, and this is going to help us in the early part get more research points. Get me a research note, put it in the table. Alright. Okay, so I'm back, and here is the research note, almost solved. Cognitio has Spiritus, Bestia has Spiritus. Sorry, that's not right. Cognitio has Spiritus, Victus is in Spiritus, Victus is in Bestia, Victus is in Mortus, and Mortus has Perdicio. And Humanus has both Bestia and Fabrico is part of Humanus. There we go, the Deconstruction Table. So, what does this thing do? Well, it lets us build a machine that will take apart items. It will melt them down and give us research points. And we're going to need to make something else for this, I didn't realize. We're going to need to use an Arcane Workbench. An Arcane Workbench is like a crafting table, but it requires magic. So, I'm going to have to make an Arcane Workbench first. So, let's see here. That should be in Artifice. Arcane Work Table. That doesn't sound right. Where are you? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. That's right. Okay, we need to make a Thaumcraft table. And once we have a Thaumcraft table, we can use it. Let's see here. Oakwood slabs. And I need some oakwood planks. There we go, a Thaumcraft table. Put that down right there, and my wand is in here. Right click on it, it becomes an Arcane Work Table. And it puts your wand in here. So, your wand has what's called V. It's magical power of the wand, basically. And there's V for every primal aspect. Air, earth, fire, water, order, and entropy. So that recipe for the Deconstruction Table is an Arcane Workbench recipe. It's got a crafting table, and it needs 20 Perdicio to make this. And we're actually going to need 22 because our iron wand is a little bit inefficient at channeling magic, which you'll learn if you read the basic wandcraft page. But I think I have enough in there. I do have 22 Perdicio exactly, so that worked out well. So, I need to make a gold pickaxe and a gold shovel, it looked like. Let's see, was that right? No, a golden axe. Another table and a thermometer. Let me go check to make sure I've got the resource to build that. I'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and crafted all the materials we'll need to make that deconstruction table, and I did go ahead and scan them. I even scanned my new thermometer and my Thaumanomicon and the table, so the table is different from an arcane work table, and if you need to, you might have to shift right-click to scan certain things that have right-click actions, like use actions, so keep that in mind. You want to scan everything. Alright, so what was the recipe for that deconstruction table again? The axe, the pickaxe, the table, and the thermometer. So, table, pickaxe, axe, thermometer. There we go, a deconstruction table. And I'll scan that too. There we go, get me some more research points. Now you can see my wand now says 0 instead of 22. The iron-capped wooden wand, you can see, has a 110% average V cost. So, how did I get V into the wand, you might be wondering? Well, there are two ways you can do that. You can either find what are called aura nodes and drain the aura nodes, or you can fight monsters. If you fight monsters while you have the wand on your hotbar, it will fill the wand. So sometimes you'll see when you kill monsters little floating things look kind of like experience orbs, but they're not, of different colors. They correspond to the various Thaumcraft aspects, and you'll get those for fighting mobs. So you might want to keep a wand on your hotbar whenever it's not fully charged to fill it up. So I used up all 22, and that was just happenstance that I had enough V in the wand for that. I didn't know how much I'd need. I've been fighting and keeping the wand on me when I went down in the dungeon to look for stuff. So lucky, I suppose. So what does this deconstruction table do? Well, we can take a stack of something, or even one item really. Get turned around my base. That seems odd to me. Let's put I should have some compressed cobblestone here. Yeah. And I want a piece of coal. I think you have to melt this stuff. Nope, you don't. So, it is destroying the item, and now there is a Perditio point in here. Click on that, bottom right hand corner, gained 1 point of research for Perditio. Now, I believe it has to contain one of the primal aspects or have a component aspect that will break down into a primal aspect. And as you can see, I'm not getting much from this stack of cobblestone. So it's really a random process. It's not a very great method of doing this. It's more helpful if you're only playing Thaumcraft, but with modded Minecraft, there's so many other things that give you points that generally you may not need this so much. But, you know, it's still helpful to get some points. I have found that Netherwort ends up getting you the best stuff there. You're going to want to put stuff that you can get a lot of, you know, so you don't care if you destroy your items. I mean, I don't care about destroying cobblestone, obviously. But you can see, I mean, it's halfway through the stack, and I've gotten one thing out of it so far. So, not a very efficient process, but Thaumcraft has a progression system, so I like that. There we go, another point for Perditio. So, and then, you know, if you need to, you can go back and combine your points to make other things. So, you will only get primary aspects from the deconstruction table. But it is another way to get research points. Alright, let me check how we're doing on time, and I'll be right back. Alright, we're doing fine on time, so I thought we would work on advanced node tapping. Basically, I haven't shown you how to do tap nodes yet, but advanced node tapping is going to help us out with that. I've already got a research note and solved most of it, so just one more step here. So this is the note for advanced node tapping. Aurum has Praecontatio in it, Vitium has Praecontatio in it, Vitium has Perditio in it, Perditio is in Permutatio. Praecontatio has Potentia, which has Ignis, which is in Potentia, which is in Praecontatio. And then the last step over here is Vacuos. So Volatus has Modus, Volatus has Air, Air and Praecontatio have Vacuos. So there we go, advanced node tapping. And let's get that discovery. So, what does advanced node tapping do for us? Well, basically, it's going to make it faster to draw V from the node. So, haven't shown you drawing it, but it's just better to have advanced node tapping. I thought, actually, that was master node tapping, or node preserver, but we're going to need those two things, too. So, let me get some research notes. I'm going to solve both of these, and I'll be right back once I've done that. Alright, so I've finished the research notes for master node tapping and node preserver. So this is the master node tapping. Aurum has Praecontatio. Praecontatio is in Vicium. Vicium has Perdicio. Perdicio is in Permutatio. Permutatio has Ordo. Ordo is in Modus. Air is in Modus. Air is in Volatus. Volatus is in Modus. Permutatio has Vacuos, which has air, which is in Vacuos, which is in Praecontatio. So there's master node tapping. And the node preserver one, Praecontatio is in Aurum. Praecontatio has Vacuos. Vacuos is in Famus. Famus has Victus, both ways. Victus is in Spiritus. Spiritus is in Sensus. Famus, same way. And Famus is in Lucrum. So there's the two discoveries there. So, what did those two things give us? Well, it's going to make our node tapping a lot better and a lot safer, or at least it will eventually. So, node preserver. You can generally damage your nodes, and they can be destroyed by tapping them. But now, when you have node preserver, you won't have a chance to do that if you have a better wand. We don't have a better wand yet, but it'll be good for later. So basically, when you draw V from a wand, you have a chance of draining it completely. If you do that, the node could be destroyed. If you leave some aspects in there, it won't be destroyed and you can come back and use them later. It will regenerate. So that's what you want to do. And this will make it easier to do that later on when we have better wands by not allowing you to drain the node completely. And finally, master node tapping. Basically, it just makes it faster. So these things are all pretty good, and we'll definitely be using those. So let's go see how we could tap a wand or a node. I think there's a node in the desert, and by the way, I want to show you that you can get more than just Perdicio from stone. You also get Terra, and it shows you a little helpful icon up here when it actually finds something, so you know you don't have to open the you don't have to open the machine and then find it out. You'll know when it's there. It's gone right now. Alright, let me grab some tools just in case I need them, like a sword and some stuff, and we'll run around. So, one thing you might end up doing when you first play Thaumcraft is look for nodes. And the first way to do that is by using the thermometer. It will make it easier to see nodes that are in the world. They're almost, not quite, but almost invisible generally. And I think, alright, that little yellow dot right in the center, that's getting bigger now. Can't see it? Can see it. There you go. That's a node. Only one I've found so far, so there's Air, Ordo, and Terra in here. Unfortunately, my node is full on all those things, but if it weren't, I could right-click and drain this node of those aspects and put them in my wand. So I need a wand. I need something that has Ignis or Perdicio. Then I could drain that and charge my wand. So this is the fastest method of charging your wand. But sometimes earlier on, it's easier to just fight monsters. I find that easy. Looks like there's another node over here. Hopefully it has something different we can use. Okay, you have to scan the node. It's got fire, it's got tenebrae, and it's got air. And we're out of fire. I don't have enough, so I can drain this. Now, node preserver does not work because we have a bad wand. So I almost drained that node of fire. And if I had, it may or may not regenerate. But we're full. I thought the math was okay, but so it's fine. And it's got tenebrae, but you can't put that into a wand, or at least you could in 4.1. I don't think that's changed. But that's how you charge the wand, which you'll need for crafting stuff. You know, I have never seen it actually grow any of that fruit it claimed it did. It's supposed to happen after a rainstorm. I mean, when does it rain in the desert? I don't know. It rained by my base earlier. I guess that must be what it is, but Alright, so that's a pretty good wrapping up point. We know how to charge wands and use V to craft things in the Arcane Work Table. And we'll be using that later on to do some more stuff. We're still in the very early throes of Thaumcraft. Oh look, Spider died, left me some string. How nice of him. So I'm going to run back home, and I'll catch you next time.